Hey guys, this is another fun edition of Unger the Radar, and I'm your host, Randy Unger. Just want to welcome everybody to the show. This is amazing. And I just want to welcome one of a very interesting individual, I must say.
That's euphemistic, though.
Yeah, he is a screenwriter and a film mentor, Mr. Jim Mercurio. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah. And we just want to wish you and everybody watching a very happy belated Batman Day.
Oh,
that was yesterday.
Why is it Batman Day?
I'm not 100% sure why. I think it may be the debut of the comic book, 75 years.
See, our geekdom doesn't intersect there. So yesterday to me was Springsteen's birthday. Bruce Springsteen's
okay.
Birthday. So it's all good. We'll find stuff
similar. No?
Yeah, we'll find stuff to celebrate. It's all good.
So how are you today?
I'm good. We just had this crazy thing where I was staying where they didn't have any water for the day, so it's a good thing you guys can't smell me. But otherwise, we're ready to go.
Is that what that was? No, I'm kidding.
No,
all right. Well, I'm glad you made it despite the
it's all good.
Yeah, lack of water. Well, that's fine. You look great.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. So I met you. What was it? About a month or two ago?
Yeah, one of the screenwriting classes that I was doing with actually buddy Zach.
Mm-hmm.
From movie time, movie time.
Yeah, one of those.
Journalists, content providers.
Yeah. Actually, I met him at a screening a couple of years ago.
Oh, cool.
Very interesting guy too. Yeah.
I mean, I know you sometimes talk about movies, but like even the fact that you're just doing the podcasting, I think like I teach storytelling stuff that actually kind of even relates to what what you're doing here and stuff. And,
right.
I think it's cool. I like the fact that you're taking your passion and kind of following it.
Yeah.
For me, it was screenwriting and filmmaking. I just got stubborn about it, and I made for a little bunch of films. They haven't made a bunch of money. So I basically work with writers and teach kind of on the side. So it's like I can stay involved. I can have reasons to see every movie that comes out and kind of, just basically be around the, milieu of filmmaking and filmmakers.
So what got you into screenwriting?
It's funny. I love movies, but I wasn't the person who came into it like at a very young age and liked Batman and Star Wars and stuff. I saw Annie Hall before I saw Star Wars.
Nice. Okay.
Well, maybe for some people, they're like, I saw Star Wars in college.
Okay.
A friend of mine, we were growing up, teenagers, and he actually starred and produced in the first feature I made. His father had a store in a small town we grew up in, and they had VHS or before that, the beta, whatever.
Right.
And he would bring home the movies every night, but the kind of movies he wanted to watch. So it was like Serpico, Godfather, French Connection, Rocky sometimes. So like all these adult movies, like early 70s, the kind of like, I don't know, like movies that adults are supposed to watch.
Right,
so
real macho.
I started, but like smart genre films,
right.
and filmmakers who kind of auteurs and stuff. So it's funny, like from the beginning, I didn't think of film as like escapism or fun and excitement in a different way. I thought it was like, wow, because even when I wouldn't get a film like French Connection all the way, or Conversation, or Godfather, I'd be like, there's something deep going on. There's something like, wow, cinema's like serious. So it's like I had this idea of like, wow, man, cinema is a thing that can really express these deep things. And, it was a little bit narrow of like, New York and guys and Italians, kind of like the stuff. But like, it was just fascinating to me. So like in college, I was being kind of conventional and getting my math degree for whatever reason, and then started taking film classes. And then by the end, I realized, no, I'm going to be a filmmaker, and went to grad school right afterwards. But like I said, like I don't think I'm a film snob. We're not one anymore. Okay. But like I always feel like cinema doesn't have to apologize for anything. Like it does deep, amazing, resonating things. That's a given. And if you get other stuff out of it, fun, entertainment, kids, you know,
it's a nice
it's both. So
right.
I'm there in line to see Wonder Woman the very first day, but like, you know, I'll sit there and analyze a Wong Kar-wai movie, you know, in a class or just for fun, you know, basically because I want to kind of, you know, bring everything to every, you know, you can be creative, you can be analytical, you can be commercial, you can be highbrow, lowbrow.
It's that line that everybody tries to, you know, balance. It's really tough sometimes.
Yeah, and it's not so much balancing because you don't want to feel like you're giving up something. It's more like lifting up both sides to be both. It's like genre films. Genre films shouldn't be just, oh, well, this was a fun film. It's just a genre film. Well, guess what? Some other genre films have been fun and kind of like amazing too. Like, ever hear Silence of the Lambs? You know, Training Day, like Confidential, Chinatown. I mean, these movies that can be like, you know, kind of standard narrative Hollywood storytelling, but also as deep, as powerful, and as resonating emotionally, intellectually as like, you know, the Bergman film or the film that you study as if you're like a cliched art film snob. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, with your floppy hair talking about coffee over coffee. It's like you could do both things with movies, I think.
Now, I know that your speciality is scene writing.
Well, not my specialty. I just finished a book called The Craft of Screenwriting. It's the first ever screenwriting book that focuses just on screenwriting. Right. It'll be out next year from Linden Publishing, and I'll come back and promote the crap out of it.
Please do.
But like, as a filmmaker, like I always put some of my the things I learned and understand from filmmaking into my teaching. So when I came up with the idea, like, you know what, I'm doing this a while. The way I learned screenwriting was diving in and absorbing everything possible. And now I kind of got good at teaching and talking about it because I make a living like helping other people with the scripts. I decided, well, what's the hook? You know, what's the commercial aspect to write a new screenwriting book, a screenwriting book? What would be different? Everyone's no one ever did screenwriting, so the publisher immediately kind of got it, and everyone's been like saying, "Jim, when is it, man? I want to get that," because no one's ever talked about that. So it's a little bit like kind of like my ADHD focus, but also my filmmaking background of like, you know, what about the color? What about the set? What about the actors? What about the movement? Like the little details that as a filmmaker I think more about than screenwriters do. I think there's a balance once again. Like screenwriting isn't just about talking, but at the same time, you know, I'm not saying you have to over direct as a screenwriter, but I think the book is like telling people who tell stories, making them think about being more visual, being more active, and basically making sure that, you know, everything's always surprising and twisty moving forward. So like looking at this level helps you when you go to write your, you know, 100-page story too.
Now, can you just talk a little bit about the relationship between the screenwriter and director, if they're separate people?
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, what is that dynamic like?
Screenwriter, I mean, this is actually just kind of like road answer, but it's kind of true. Like, screenwriter writes the blueprint. I think you could go too far and try to over direct on the page and like try to explain every little thing, or you could underwrite it and basically like write a film it's all talk, or you kind of have cheats, things like where he's thinking about so and so. You're like, well, the reader reads it and says, "Oh, okay, I know Randy's thinking about that time when he lost the eBay bid on his new Batmobile," right? but the viewer doesn't know that. So like technically, it's not so much that it's bad screenwriting; it's not screenwriting at all. So I feel like as a screenwriter, you need to be thinking like a director and telling the story visually. But then as a director, it's the screenwriting's done. Okay. I mean, if you're respectful, or if you trust, if you respect the process, or you have a good relationship, the screenwriter is always going to be kind of informing it, and the script will be informing. Right. But as a screenwriter, you got to think like, I'm writing this, I'm letting it go. Right. So everything you want to be on the page, tell the story visually. Then a director literally is then telling the story visually, kind of risky. But also talking with the crew and the actors and everybody. So it's a different skill set. I'm an extrovert, so sometimes like being the screenwriter, sitting in a room and just being by yourself with the computer is a little harder for me. But then like as a director, it's very exciting and fun to be like, oh, it's challenging. But 100 people saying, what should this be? What color should this be? When are we doing this? When are we doing that? So directing is more of a chaotic, hands-on, really. You're being the orchestra conductor of like a 100-person crew or 10-person crew. Whereas a screenwriter, you're sitting there, you know, with the blank page. So it's depending on what scares you more, like the social aspect or the being alone.
Probably the social. Right?
Okay, for me, it's like no, being alone in the room is harder, but that's kind of what it is.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your work, your films, what you've worked on in the past, what you have going on now.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's kind of changed. There's a little indie years ago called The Imposters.
Oliver Platt, right?
Yeah, Oliver Platt.
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, and Oliver Platt's, it's a comedy. It's kind of farcical, and they're dressed up as like, you know, in drag on a boat doing some scam. And he goes, "I'm an actor," and someone says, "Have I seen you in anything?" And he goes, it's a tough business. And that's when people say, well, I've seen all your movies. Like, are they out there? I'm like, it's a tough business. I've worked behind the scenes, like consulting with like some big filmmakers I'm not allowed to talk about.
Okay.
But the movies I've made, you know, they haven't made a bunch of money. You can go to Google Play or online, maybe Amazon, and see Hard Scrambled, which is a movie I produced, or a horror film I did called Last Girl. Hard Scrambled had Kurtwood Smith from the '70s show.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
RoboCop. Yeah, exactly. You know,
he's always like a tough guy.
Yeah,
authoritative.
But he plays a character actor mostly. He's super well known for it. It's amazing. Good. But we gave him the lead in this movie called Hard Scrambled. If you can watch the Not Safe for Work trailer at Google Play or YouTube, you know, Hard Scrambled trailer. It was a lot of fun. We had Richard Edson from Do the Right Thing and Strangers in Paradise, a total like New York indie stalwart kind of guy. And then I did a little horror film called Last Girl, which is creepy. It's like a first-person snuff film. It's funny because, like I said, I came to movies as an adult. Like the perfect movie for me to make would be like Annie Hall.
Oh God!
Like that would be the movie like I'd want to make. And then someone says, "Well, we work together well. Let's try something. Let's do a little horror thriller in Detroit." And like, as a director, you don't say no. Because as a screenwriter, you can write for free all day in your room. But as a director, it's like you need that sandbox or that playground to learn your craft. And so it's like, I didn't say no. I'm like, I wouldn't do this one. I'll try to bring everything I know to the story and stuff. So it's called Last Girl. It's actually kind of smart. It has some things that kind of breaks with the genre, and I challenged myself a few places. It's supposed to be a first-person snuff film. Okay. So, for instance, though, but like stuff I learned from art films, like taking a shot without cuts. So there's like a 9-minute torture scene, or like a crazy torture scene that I'm trying to be like Robert Altman. I'm thinking like, how can I do this without any cuts? How can I do this that challenges me and what I love about filmmaking, but also engages the audience? So there's a couple, you know, really interesting things, you know, that happens there. But it's funny because, like I said, I want to do highbrow, lowbrow. Like I don't want to judge that. So right now, I'm kind of using my screenwriter personality. I'm going back and I'm writing completely. After writing the scene book, talking about dialogue, I said, I got to put my money where my mouth is. So I'm writing completely unabashedly sex comedy. Like, you know, super bad, you know, kind of like a 40-year-old virgin. Okay. Because I'm like
there's something about Mary.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And one, I want it to be funny and everything. It has themes. It's like, it's smart too. But it's like the industry's changed. It's so hard to, you know, they're not making $40 million movies. They're making $2 billion movies or $40 billion movie, right? So it's just a lot harder to break in. So it's like I try to adjust to the times and like put my money where my mouth is. I'm back to writing a spec script. So it's like,
can you talk about the romantic comedy a little bit, or is that
the
under
comedy?
wraps? Yeah.
Well, no, it's. I mean, it's.
Because I'm curious what a romantic comedy from you would be like.
It's romantic comedy / kind of like I don't know, kind of like a gross out comedy, like a super bad romantic comedy. Slightly. Okay. It's 40-Year-Old Virgin, yeah. I would say it's a cross between 40-Year-Old Virgin and Step Brothers. But instead of boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy loses the girl and then has to get her back. So if you want to sit there and nitpick about comedy, maybe it's a romantic comedy. It's a little bit more like Step Brothers, kind of a spy versus spy, just kind of straight out comedy, but definitely has a romantic comedy elements. And just to like, you know, to show you how like, when I'm teaching and stuff, I'll say, you know, like the stuff I learned from art films and European films, everything's integrated in theme. It's all related. So, like, for instance, the title of my movie about the two guys competing like stepbrothers is called Swinging Dicks. Okay. Right? But it's also about a private detective who's one of the jerks.
Well, how about Brotherly Love?
Well, I mean, it might change, but, like, I think it's kind of funny that, like, it's a good title that managers to read. To read. But also, it's about a detective who's called a dick, about guys who are jerks competing, about male competition, right? So it's like the title, like, when you hit your stride as a writer, your title will be there, you know, or like your ending, like it'll be one thing and they'll all kind of unify. So it's like, I've been happy, like I kind of put my money where my mouth is. I'm like, I'm trying to teach people to write good scenes, good dialogue. And I'm happy with the dialogue, but also everything fits together. And it's like, when that title finally came to me in the middle of the draft, I was like, competition, the male stuff, the sex comedy talk, the sexual language, like it all kind of hit together. So I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be not reinventing the wheel, but like the stuff that Judd Apatow, you know, Woody Allen a little bit, I think it'll be in the ballpark of as good as that.
Okay, great. Well, what makes, in your opinion, a good story? Curious about this.
I think, you know, I think I have a DVD which later on we'll talk about.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But like I have a DVD called Killer Endings, which is like I've had like filmmakers who are $1 billion in box office who saw that, I don't know how,
Right.
and they came and like hired me because of that. So it's like, it's a pretty good little thing. And it talks about the killer ending. Your greatest ending in a movie is where character and structure come together. It's where the goal, the physical thing the character's going after, and the need, the growth the character needs to have come together in the climax of the movie. Okay. So my greatest story is when the events that push the character all the way to the limits, challenge them, but not just physically.
Right.
Physically, yes. Like, don't say, well, I have a little art film and it's all inside his head. You know what? Do both. Like, it's a great goal, but also it's the character growth.
Right.
And the only way the character's going to get that if he does. Like LA Confidential, he's by the book, he's goody two shoes, he's never going to shoot anyone in the back.
No spoilers, by the way. This is a spoiler-free zone.
Well, okay.
Sorry.
No. So if you think about movies that you love, like great genre movies, the idea, like, could the character have solved that on page 10? Could they on page 10 have solved that? Or did they need to go through the growth to do it at the end?
Okay.
Take lethal weapon, cautious, risk-taking.
Right.
Anyways, where emotion and character and story all come together. I would say that's kind of what I'm looking for, like in a great story.
Okay. Well, we have about like a minute or two left.
Oh, cool.
Did you want to plug anything, mention anything?
Well, look, I mean, I'm doing a bunch of free classes over the next, actually the fall, but like the next six, I have like 6 classes in 2 weeks.
Okay.
The free things around New York City. Go to my Facebook page, A-List Screenwriting. Okay. You Google A-List Screenwriting, you'll see a picture of me, you'll see some of the events. The big cool event is next Friday or this Friday, part of the New York City Media Lab. I'm doing a class at the New School.
Oh, cool.
So check out New York City Media Lab. Okay. We have a free mixer event Thursday night, and then Friday's a class at the New School. And it's kind of like about how to find your voice with using technology and stuff. So I think it's a really kind of so culture, diversity, technology, storytelling. It's kind of a cool little mix. I kind of try to do a class I've never done before, like kind of challenge myself. So check that out. Also, I'll give away some free Killer Endings DVDs on your site. Just tell people later on, or check back at your webpage, your Facebook webpage.
We'll be posting that in the next couple days.
Out. And I really appreciate you having me on here. And at the A-List Screenwriting page, my events are there. But if anybody has questions or wants to talk to me about how I can help with the screenwriting or my other classes or workshops, check out A-List Screenwriting Facebook. Send me a note. And
I'm sure a lot of people watching will be very interested to know more about that.
Cool, man.
Jim, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Thanks a lot, man.
Come back soon, okay? Sure. All right. So we're going to have our film review segment coming up in 1 minute. And, we'll be right back in a few seconds. Thanks, guys.
You miss me. I need to hear from you. You can't live without me. The truth, not the clues. You say that you want me. That was the case. Today you despise me. And I can't breathe again. Pour my soul out to you. Watch you keep it back. Cut the ties that bind you, loosen up the slack. Hanging from the highest limb, still you don't see me. You always try to cut me down, leaving me. It's bittersweet. Now you won't see me. You want nothing to do with me. Wasted like garbage. Never getting back to me. Not even a whisper of what I really want to hear. I guess I'm burning to never trust again. Pour my soul out to you. Watch you kick it back. Cut the ties that bind you, loosen the slack, hanging from the highest limb, still you don't see me. You always try to cut me down, blaming me. It's bittersweet. You're trying to cut me down. You wanna watch me drown. Pour my soul out to you, watch you kick it back. Cut the ties that bind you, loosen up the slack. Hanging from the highest love, still you don't see me. You're always trying to cut me down, it's bittersweet.
And we're back.
Hey guys, welcome back to Under the Radar. And yeah, this is our film review segment. Everybody's a critic. And I just want to welcome two very cool people, very intelligent moviegoers. We've got horror writer Zainab Ali. Hello. And we've got Mr. Matt Habermann, a fellow Ghostbuster and an overall good guy.
Thank you, Randy. Well, glad to be back.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. This is great.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you were on my first ever episode.
That's such an honor. That's always such an honor.
Yeah, thank you. The honor is mine. So yeah, and this is your second time as well.
Yeah, this is my second time. Great to be back for this experience.
Yeah, thanks for enduring me for this second venture.
Absolutely.
So guys, we're going to talk about three very random movies. The first one is a horror film. You might like to, sink your teeth into this one. It's called Against the Night. Mm-hmm. And it's about a group of teenagers who randomly go to an abandoned prison that may or not be haunted, and all this crazy stuff happens. Zaina, what did you think?
Well, I actually think that the concept was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought it was a little cliche.
Yeah.
I felt the whole thing has been done before.
Mm-hmm.
If it was it's similar to like horror movies that actually use real life footage. Mm-hmm. It was similar. They used the same, sort of the same concept,
right?
But the thing is, I felt it was a little cliche.
Yeah.
It didn't scare me,
right?
But it was still an interesting watch.
Yeah, it's been done before. We've all seen it. Man, what'd you think?
I feel like it definitely has been done before. It reminds me of one movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Oh, yeah.
And it just reminds me of, like a little bit like mockumentary. I'm going into a prison.
The found footage genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Uninspired, unfortunately.
Which, found footage is actually, it's an interesting concept, but only if you come up with your own concept. You don't want to use somebody else's concept.
Right.
Do you agree?
I agree with that.
Now, it's not horror, but it is found footage. What was it? The one about the teenagers who develop superpowers, and it's found footage, but it's about superheroes. Yeah. It's just a better film than this one, in my opinion. And the acting in Against the Night was really terrible as well. I mean, I know they're all young and they have something to prove, but
there was one scene that I felt was a little like over the top. I mean, who records a friend, his own friend and his girlfriend having sex without their permission? Who just does that?
Yeah, they thought it was funny, cute.
They thought it was funny, but I felt it was like...
That was crossing the line.
It was crossing the line. Very far-fetched, but and crossing the line. But I was
and
like,
the guy giving a thumbs up as it's happening.
Yeah, who does... who does that? And the girl actually,
she wasn't... She was pissed, but she kind of got over it. Like,
who gets over that?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's violation.
Gets over that? That's violation.
Of privacy, yeah. A minor detail in the movie, but yeah, you raised a great point.
I pull apart movies, and that was the one thing that I was just like, this the whole time. I was like, what was that about? What the hell was that about?
It was off.
Another thing that's bad is through the story is like when they were in the prison, they go, "How can I trust you? Well, you all went in there together, and now you think someone's in on it.
Yeah,
how can I trust you? Like, am I an alien?"
And they accessed that prison very easily. It's like, come on.
That's like I said.
Yeah.
It doesn't doesn't make sense.
Yeah, cliche.
Because you can't, unless it's one thing if somebody had the key, if somebody actually worked there and had the key and said, "Hey guys, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's, it's after hours. Everybody's, the security guard. Everybody's off for the night. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this."
Right.
And the meth lab made no sense at all. The meth lab is...
I was just, again, far-fetched.
Yeah. I was not a fan at all. I'd rather watch The Blair Witch 10 times over than watch this again.
Or Unfriended, which is also found footage.
I didn't see
footage.
Is that a found?
Well, it's like they didn't. It's not like found footage, but it's basically shot from the perspective of a Skype account.
Okay. Huh.
It's something you actually want to see on your computer, not on the big screen, because then you actually feel as
like
if
it's happening to you.
Somebody is typing to you saying, "I'm going to kill you and all your friends."
Oh wow. Okay,
and
that
then
sounds
next
good.
thing you know, something happens. Somebody dies.
That sounds a lot better than Against the Night. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, guys, final thoughts on this movie, Matt?
First time and last time I see that movie.
Yes. I feel the same way.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our next movie. This is actually my favorite of the three. It's called Shot, and it's basically about a guy, regular average Joe, played by Noah Wyle, who gets shot accidentally when two teenagers are handling a gun, and the bullet hits Noah Wyle, and basically the whole film is him on the sidewalk and then in the hospital and trying to survive. I really like this movie. I mean, I thought it was very powerful, really good acting from Noah Wyle. What did you guys think, Matt?
Well, first off, I think for that kind of film can definitely be put into a high school health class because it's something that would talk about gun violence. It definitely shows. It definitely shows the story and what guns can really do to you. One thing. Another thing for what I've seen from the story is, the kid was always bullied.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't stand up to himself.
Yeah.
So he wanted some higher power. And overall, this guy was, generally a good kid. He's had good conscience. He made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, actually played by Jorge Lindenberg Jr., who's actually, I thought he was really good in this. He was actually also, if you recognize him, he was in a film re-reviewed in a previous show, Brigsby Bear, where he played the friend who befriends Brandon Mooney. Yeah, Kyle Mooney. Anyway, the main character. And he was just a really good actor, and his frantic search to try and evade the cops and try to correct things running around the city. I thought he was awesome. And Zainab, what did you think of the film?
I actually thought it was a powerful film. Like you said, it basically it touches upon gun violence and how people need to protect themselves better. And maybe guns is not always the answer.
Yeah.
I personally don't think a gun should not be kept in the house unless, it should only be used for self-defense.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't really believe it should be kept in the house because chances are somebody else could misuse it.
Right.
And,
kids are smart. They could find a key, they could find the box, and that's that.
Kids are smart, and they can, who's to say that if a child or, who's to say if a kid, wants to be cool to his friends and say, "Hey, guys, look, my mom and dad, look what I took out of the kitchen cabinet. I have this gun and everything. Let's shoot, let's play around with it for a little bit and see what happens." And then next thing you know, you shoot somebody, it has dire consequences. It's not worth it.
It's a very important movie, and I really hope people, will see it and appreciate it, and I hope, gun violence will eventually end. I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon, but, maybe this movie will help shed some light on it a bit more. Any final thoughts with this movie?
For this one, I say distribute it to all high schools so that I feel it should be taught for gun violence, for you to choose whether if it's right for you to have a gun or not. I know it's everyone's right to bear arms, but it comes with great responsibility.
Yeah, agreed.
I feel the same way. I think that I think the youth of today need to see movies like this, and basically it gets them, but not just the youth, but also the parents.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And So very heavy topic. But having said that, gun control and all that needs to be monitored more. I do think that the performances in this movie were great.
The performances were very
Noah
good.
Wiley was great.
Like, you could believe him in this
He's
movie.
a good actor.
Yeah.
He's generally a good actor.
I don't think I've seen him in anything else other than ER, to be honest with you guys.
I've seen him in the movie Enough with
The
Jennifer
Halle Berry?
Lopez
J-Lo, yeah.
and Bill Campbell.
Okay.
That's another one. It's about domestic violence.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's another social topic.
Nice. So
That's a really good movie.
he probably gravitates towards those types of movies, I guess. Noah Wiley.
And he played a scumbag role.
Oh, did
in
he?
that movie.
Okay. Well, I hope he got shot in that. All right, guys. So, final film of the film review segment. What do we got here? We got Shot Against the Night, and yeah, this was, I couldn't even remember because I didn't really care for it that much. Big Bear. Basically a Hangover style bro comedy about a group of guys who kidnap a guy that is cheating on this other guy's that's cheating. The girlfriend of this guy is cheating on, so they basically bring him to this house, tie him up, put him in the basement, and basically try to torture him, and hilarity ensues. Zainab, what did you think of this one?
It wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think Adam Brody, he's a good actor. He's a good actor, but it's like his character, he looked like a complete wuss. I felt as if though
He was a minor character too. I didn't think he was a major character.
no, the major character, the one who
Oh,
got dumped,
the
one
blonde
who
guy.
got dumped, the blonde
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
So the one who got dumped, by his fiance, the one who got jilted.
Yeah.
He's a good actor, but the thing is, the way I see it is, if this woman's gonna dump you, why are you still for another man?
Yeah.
Why why constantly harp on this woman that doesn't appreciate you? Where's your self-respect? Maybe I'm being a little too blunt here, but he was lamenting over that the whole time. Yeah. Which I understand. That's the initial, when you first break up with somebody, that's the first thing you do is you lament over them. And then once you've moved past that, then you're like, okay, you know what? She's not worth it.
Yeah.
But then
kind of spineless. Joey Kern, by the way, that's the actor.
Joey Kern, yeah. I'm sorry. I got the actors mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the actors mixed up, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like him either.
The blonde guy.
Yeah, pretty boy.
The pretty boy, exactly.
Not much of an actor.
He's a pretty boy, but yeah, Adam Brody was also good in that movie. So. Yeah. I got that. Yeah, I got the names mixed up for a second.
Oh, okay. What did you think, Matt?
It's coming. For what I've seen, this is a guy that is clearly he got dumped. He has no self-respect. Mm-hmm. Even in it shows in the movie, he accepted a demotion because he didn't work hard enough, and because he felt like he needed the money.
Right.
Well, you could have got dignity and get a better job to be happy. And the thing also is the friends, yes, they kidnapped him. They wanted him so that he can get, some self-respect and dignity. Yeah. Because that's what friends do to support. A very stupid way. But, I feel like this has been done in some ways before. Mm-hmm. One actor, the person who played the cop, was terrible.
Mr. Toby Huss, who was actually in an episode of Seinfeld. He played the Wiz that Elaine was dating. Nobody beats the Wiz. Nobody can stop me. Yeah, he's an awful actor.
He was just horrible. The way it was, he didn't even sound like a real cop. He couldn't even be believable. Like, if I even went up to him, if he was a cop, I would just shut the door right in his face. Just like, yeah, you don't scare me at all.
Bad casting on that.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, the main character, you can't really feel sorry for him because all he does is whines and he cries, he laments, and he harps on this girl that, this woman that dumps him for somebody else.
Yeah.
And
he got way too much screen time.
And then exactly. And that's the thing. And then he just snaps. Like he just loses it.
Yeah.
His friends are trying to tell him, get your, seriously,
stuff together.
Get your stuff together, right. Man the heck up.
Right.
Man up.
Well, speaking of actors in the movie, I really like Pablo Schreiber. He played the guy that they tie up, that they capture.
Okay.
He was actually in Orange Is the New Black. He played Porn Stash, this kind of like a villain guard at the women's prison. I thought he was great. I think he's an interesting actor.
He's a good actor.
He gets good performances. It's very intense, very unique looking. So, okay, guys. So, final thoughts on this movie, Matt?
It's not one of the greatest movies ever.
No, I mean it's tolerable. It's more watchable than Against the Night in my.
Oh
opinion.
yes.
You know, I'd take this over that anytime.
But it's not anything that I would watch again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I give it a thumbs.
You got it out of the way, and now it's a distant memory.
Yeah.
How about you, Zainab?
I probably will never watch it again.
No.
And I will not recommend that Vinny, watches it either.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, guys, have you seen anything lately, or do you plan on seeing anything? What are you looking forward to?
Okay. Are you ready for me to rant about this?
Please do.
The new It movie.
Oh, we've been speaking about that movie for the past month. Pretty much every episode. I wrote a review on it, and yeah, I loved it.
I personally think CGI is killing horror movies. It's a slap in the face to horror directors, true genuine horror directors like Romero, Craven,
nice.
and Spielberg. Just to name a couple,
Okay.
And the thing is, horror it's completely killing horror movies today. It's not scary anymore. It was very, very far-fetched.
Yeah.
And I wrote something about that on my blog, and I didn't have something nice to say. I think the chemistry between the characters was good.
Yes.
But it was very underdeveloped. Everything was so haste.
Right.
It did not seem, there was not enough backstory.
They crammed a little too much in.
They crammed it.
I agree.
I mean, the book, of course, the book is like over what I would say 700 pages, and it explains more. But I prefer the 1990 version better because there was more of a backstory, there was more history with the characters, and it shows. I mean, a friendship. Some friendships, even if they form pretty fast, there's still a connection there.
Okay.
But these in the original, there was a connection there. It's like they had a home together. The Losers Club, that was their hangout, that was their home. They were all being bullied by the same bullies.
Right.
They were being terrorized by this diabolical creature dressed up as a clown. But it brought all of them closer together, and even in adulthood 30 years later.
I thought that the filmmakers did an okay job of putting that all together. The Stand By Me, Goonies type of feel.
And Stranger Things.
Yeah. But
that's one show I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah. But they kind of just crammed it in together, and it didn't really. I mean, I actually like Pennywise in this. I thought it was legitimately creepy.
I don't like. You know what? You can't replace Tim Curry as Pennywise.
No, you can't even compare.
I think that the whole court. He looked more like a court jester, whereas Pennywise looked like an actual
Bozo
clown.
the clown.
You have the whole Bozo the Clown. You have more like a Gacy, John Wayne Gacy dressed as Bozo the Clown. It was like that Gacy feel you got.
Interesting.
But the thing is, though, this clown, I didn't care for so much for Bill Skarsgård.
No. Yeah. Man, what do you think? Did you see it yet?
I did not see it yet. It is one of the movies I do want to see.
Yeah. Did you see the original?
I did see the original.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I have seen the original. It's
on YouTube, by the way, Blu-ray. So, yeah.
The one movie, I mean, it's not really in theaters or anything. It's been released direct to iTunes, but it's called Special Unit, and it stars my favorite comedian, Christopher Titus.
You love Titus?
Yes, I do. He does a great.
What does he play in this?
He plays a cop, and what he is, he's been reassigned to teach a new unit that is basically people with special needs and handicap.
Okay.
So, and what's amazing is that he has found all these actors who have grown up that had special needs. So. It was a really dedicated project that he wanted to do. He directed it and he starred in it. And I've seen Christopher Titus. I've seen his stand-up comedy through his dysfunctional family, and it's completely funny. I've seen his TV show, which starred Stacy Keach and Cynthia Watros and Zach Ward. So funny. You can see it on YouTube. It just makes me laugh so much. So,
all right. And that's, what is the title again? Special Unit?
It's called Special Unit.
And it's out, or it's been out? It's coming out?
I'm pretty sure it's been released as of September 12th. But it's been released direct to iTunes.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, if it gets your endorsement, I'm going to check it out now. That's awesome. So what else? Anything else you guys are looking forward to?
I am looking forward to Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Mr. Mark Hamill will be at New York Comic-Con in a few weeks.
I'm sad that I'm going to miss Comic-Con, but I have good intentions I'm looking forward to what I'm doing that week.
Nice. Yeah, The Last Jedi. Should be pretty epic, huh? Are you a Star Wars buff?
I like it. I wouldn't say I'm a buff, but I do like Star Wars.
Okay.
I do. Especially, Ewok. I think Ewok and Chewbacca. I think they're cute.
Adorable.
I think they're so cute. Oh my god, kind of reminds me a little bit of Gizmo from the Gremlins. So cute. I felt so bad that the Gremlins were so mean to him.
I have a feeling that's the next movie that they're going to remake.
And honestly,
and kill.
I'm not going to.
They're going to butcher it. I know.
I'm not looking forward to seeing that. There's also a rumor that there's going to be a Pet Sematary remake.
The first one was in the early 90s?
80s.
80s,
yeah.
And then they did a sequel, Pet Sematary 2. It was horrible.
I actually liked Pet Sematary 2. I mean, I wouldn't say it was scary, but I wanted to know what happened to the remaining family members in the first one. And they touched upon it.
I didn't say, is it about killer pets or what's the, zombies pets or something?
Zombies, the dog that gets resurrected, the cop the sheriff that gets resurrected. It was more funny than scary.
I think that might have been Wes Craven, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he didn't direct Pet Sematary.
Well, Stephen King was.
I think he wrote it.
He wrote it, and
Speaking of Stephen King,
it was a Mary Lambert film.
I think we touched on this last time, but Creepshow.
Yes. Oh my God, Creepshow! I love Creepshow.
1 and 2. I think I prefer 2, to be honest with you.
I love both 1 and 2.
They're great.
It's nuts.
I do like Creepshow. Yes.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's entertaining. It's not so much scary, but it's entertaining.
Right.
Except the first one in the first movie, the very last segment with the cockroaches. That's scary. That freaks me out.
I just remember Stephen King with the green fur. He becomes like a plant.
He becomes a plant. He touches some meteorite.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's growing.
It's crazy.
He's growing, and he just becomes green.
See, why can't they make movies like that? Like the anthology,
That's what I wish they would bring back, but I wish they would make it more original without the CGI.
Right, exactly. What do you think about that? Like horror movies from the 80s compared to now?
I think the 80s was in its prime with the horror movies. One that I really liked was Sleepaway Camp, which
yes, love that. Love
I know
Sleepaway
it's like
Camp.
A little bit of a knockoff like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But it was.
I love Sleepaway Camp.
Nice.
The tale of how Angela.
No spoilers.
and killing each other.
She killed bad people, but there was an interesting story behind Angela's character.
Oh, yes.
Remember.
Oh, I remember that.
It was a very twisted story that if you were to see it for the first time, you would never guess.
Oh, yeah. It
punches you in the end, like a sucker punches you in the end.
When I saw it, I was to the end, I was like, oh, my God.
Holy, oh, my God. You don't expect it. That's the thing. They don't make movies like that anymore that just have that sucker punch in the end. You have to leave the audience at the edge of their seat.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, I love Sleepaway Camp. I love the fact that there was a female killer. It's all about girl power,
Takes it to another level there.
I love, but 80s was in the prime of its horror movies, but my favorite personally is the 70s horror movies. The best. If I had to choose between 70s, 80s, and 90s, I would say 70s.
I like the one, Salem's Lot.
I love Salem's Lot.
Creepy.
Yeah. Yes, it is creepy.
It's awesome though.
It is, and I love the psychological horror movies from the 70s, like Let's Scare Jessica to Death, which you would, if you have not seen that, it's a very twisted psychological movie. It's like, you don't know who's going crazy and who's not, because this woman, Jessica, she's her husband and their friend, they decide to take a vacation somewhere. They decide to stay somewhere for a while, I guess to start over. She just got discharged from the mental hospital, and now she moves to this place, which is in an old abandoned house. But there's a woman that actually moves in with them. But this woman has an interesting story behind her. This woman is not, this woman actually goes way back.
Okay.
From like ages before.
This is Killing Jessica?
No, Let's Scare Jessica.
Let's Scare Jessica. Okay.
And this woman actually makes a move on Jessica's husband, and she's trying to make Jessica go crazy again. But Jessica doesn't know that if she is going crazy or not.
Wow.
Weird things start to happen throughout that whole town.
Okay.
Weird things happening where all these men have scars on their necks. So it is said that this woman, Emily, who just moves in with them, is a vampire. She drowned on her wedding day, and she's actually a vampire. Okay. So, but you see, that's the thing. Jessica doesn't know whether she's going crazy or not.
Jeez.
Everybody around her is slowly but surely, especially this woman and her husband are making her go crazy.
Oh my God.
And that the village people.
The epitome of the psychological horror.
They need to bring movies like that back again.
Okay.
And there's another movie. Have you seen the movie Proxy? It's an independent horror movie.
No, I haven't.
No.
This movie, Proxy, you want to talk about twisted? This came out, I think, a year or two ago. I'm not sure. I forgot. I actually wrote about it on my blog. You actually should see this movie. This movie is so sick. It is just very, very sick. Okay. It's sick all around. I mean,
you mean gory or like sexual?
It's a bit. It's got some elements of some bloody violence. Okay. It is sexual, but it's just very sick because it also touches upon another powerful subject about motherhood and about these women that don't really want to be mothers, and somehow these women it's just very sick though. But the whole story is very, very, very sick. I don't want to say no anymore because I don't want to give it away.
I guess it's sick.
All I'm saying is that you just have to see it because it is these independent horror movies.
Proxy.
Let's Scare Jessica
Let's
to
Scare
death.
Jessica. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like movies like that, independent horror movies, I say are the best now because the ones that don't use CGI, I support them 100%.
The last decent one I saw, I think, was Get Out. That was really good. Other than that, I can't really think. And yeah, it was good, but yeah, it wasn't very psychological.
I still have to see that.
It'll be in theaters for a while. Yeah, check it out though. So, anything else, you guys, or any pop culture events coming up? Any Comic Cons coming?
The one I'm going to be missing out on New York Comic Con, but the one con I just recently come out is a new one at the Nassau Coliseum in December, Ace Comic Con, and that's going to have the cast from the Justice League there, the Henry Cavill. Gal Gadot.
Good. Wait, Henry Cavill. I think it's Cavill. Is it Cavill or Cavill? Cavill. Gal Gadot. Yeah. I know because we have the exact same birthday. She might be my twin. I don't know. But and then the Cyborg, Flash, Green Lantern's not in there.
I think so. Green Lantern, Aquaman is going to be coming to that con, and also professional wrestler The Undertaker. This is a brand new con.
Nassau Coliseum.
The Nassau Coliseum, which is also from a couple of the creators from Wizard World. So
very good.
It's an interesting con. It's I know that in WinterCon at Resorts World in Jamaica, Queens is going to be next. But
going there, yep.
But I'm actually interested in this one. So. In Ace, so I'm thinking about.
Is this their first year?
This is their first year, and the inaugural one is going to be at the Nassau Coliseum.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to that as well. And also this week, actually next Friday through Sunday, it's Monster Mania in Hunt Valley, Maryland, and I'll be there, and I'm just going to be roaming around, taking the sights, and getting not autographs, but photos with Mr. Michael Biehn. and Mr. Val Kilmer.
No, I met Michael Biehn at WinterCon in 2015.
Yeah,
He's a great guy.
that's good. Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, he seems like he'd be a down to earth person. I like that. Cool. So, anything else going on, guys? No more films coming up, or do you want to talk about your Nightmare?
Oh
book?
yes, it's, my audiobook. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
find it on my website, www.nightmarenook.horrorblog.com. And 6 scary stories to give you nightmares.
Like the like that
Alvin Schwartz, Scary
Exactly.
Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Those images will haunt me forever.
The images, well, what inspired me to write the audiobook was when I was younger, I actually bought, I had all of them, the
Right.
first, second, and the third one.
Cool.
But I also got the second one, I had the audio cassette to it.
Okay.
And I remembered at slumber parties, me and my girlfriends, even me and my cousins, I would play it. We would literally jump under the covers. We would freak out by the sound, by the theme music, the sounds, and the stories.
Okay.
It was so, and you're reading a good horror story or listening to a good story when you're scared.
Nice.
So
Yeah. So do you think you'll be able to maybe reach out to some of those people from the original stories and put together some kind of, I don't even know, a future audiobook and add some illustrations at some point?
never say never.
Yeah. Like an interactive type of story, maybe do it online.
Even I would like, even do a movie,
Yeah.
never say never.
And now this is an anthology, right?
It's, yeah. And I mean, I would like to, someday make it a movie, I would like to, that would be the next thing that, but
Yeah.
I would definitely love to. And it would be more like, see, that's the thing, like my idea would be, for as far as a movie would go, would be to completely replicate the 70s style, the vintage style, not anything that's anything modern. It has to be all 70s style.
Now
It would be like Trilogy of Terror, Tales from the Crypt, 1974 style.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking more like Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side actually came in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or like later on.
The
but
movie was 1990. I think.
actually, yeah, 80s, 90s, yeah. But Trilogy of Terror came in the 70s, and the original Tales from the Crypt was in the 1970s.
Oh, interesting.
With Joan Collins and, so that's why I would, that's the style I would definitely replicate.
That's awesome.
That's a style, that's my personal favorite. I can't get into the other styles as much as I can with that.
Do you have any actors in mind, like when you wrote this?
Well, right now I'm still in the, writing out the vision, and yeah, there are people that, I would, I would like to. It's just in my mind, like, it's just a thought right now.
Okay.
And, I can't give any names right now, but, there are some people. I would have loved to reach out to some old horror actors, but some of them are like in their 80s and they don't act anymore.
I think I don't know if it's happening right now or next week, but I think there's a horror convention going on in, I think, Jersey.
It's actually going on this weekend, Jersey Horror Con.
Right.
Yes,
That's happening right now, I think.
Yes.
It is happening right now, yeah.
You weren't.
I would have loved to go. We weren't able to go this weekend, unfortunately. But
well, I'm glad you're here now.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool. And also, it's coming up in Parsippany, New Jersey, next month. Chiller Theater.
Chiller, yes, yes.
I believe I'm going to that.
Chiller is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have to get into Chiller.
Yeah.
There's also a con last week was Heroes and Villains Fan Fest. Now I went there.
Oh yeah.
Went to it last year, which was a pretty fun event.
What type was it? Just as a standard Comic-Con?
More like it was like a standard. I would say it was a standard Comic-Con, but it had more like of modern TV shows of today. They had the guests. They had Stephen Amell from Arrow.
Arrow, right. So that was okay. Yeah, where was that?
That was at the Meadowlands Expo Center in Jersey.
And did you go? Or
not this year?
Okay.
Because pretty much the same actors of that. They had like from Gotham, The Walking Dead, and Once Upon a Time, and Arrow, and DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
And now, kind of off topic, but are you guys? What are you watching? Any TV shows now, or
Nothing new.
nothing new?
Well, premiere season is about to begin.
Of which one?
See the season premieres of a bunch of shows
Oh,
are
yeah,
about to begin. I do need to catch up on Gotham because I missed out on season 3, but going into season 4. And
I know Penguin's opening up the Iceberg Lounge, so heads up.
Also, American Horror Story. You know, I
still need to get into that.
Yeah,
I think you've been recommending that to me.
I sell a lot of their their products and everything online on my
oh,
blog.
really?
And yeah, there's some twisted seasons.
Okay.
The one with Lady Gaga, Lady Gaga goes from eccentric pop princess to now vampiress or a countess, and it's
totally random.
She's so eccentric. I love her.
Oh yeah,
I love her.
You mean in real life or on the show?
In real life.
Okay. But she's a great singer too. When she
is. She's very. I love the fact that she's attractive in an eccentric.
Yeah, she has got kind of almost a classic beauty.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being back with me.
It's a pleasure.
And I want to welcome you to the new set of Under the Radar. Hope you like the decor.
I do.
So yeah, this is our show, and we're happy to have you guys. Come back anytime you want. And I've been your host, Randy Unger. And again, this is Under the Radar. Thanks so much, guys.
Gotta let you go, I'm scared. Can't give you any kind of comfort that'd be fair. The longing rages in my heart. It tears me all apart. When you turn me on, you devastate my plans. When it comes to you and me, it's back to you I'll always be. When it comes to you and me, I can see the forest for the trees.